Rachael Carpani is gone at just 45 years old, and the news has left fans, colleagues, and the entire entertainment industry stunned and heartbroken. Her death, confirmed by her family in mid-December 2025, marked the sudden and painful end of a life and career that meant so much to so many people across the world. According to her loved ones, Rachael passed away peacefully but unexpectedly after a long and private battle with chronic illness. While she had faced serious health struggles for years with extraordinary courage and resilience, her passing still came as a shock, sending waves of grief across Australia, the United States, and far beyond. For many fans, the news felt unreal. Rachael Carpani was one of those rare actors who didn't just appear on television, she became part of people's lives. She was someone viewers grew up with, someone whose characters felt familiar, comforting, and deeply human. Her death has left an undeniable void, not only in the industry, but in the hearts of those who followed her journey for more than 2 decades. Born Rachael Anna Marie Carpani on August 24, 1980 in Sydney, Australia, she grew up with a deep love of creativity, storytelling, and performance. From an early age, it was clear that acting was not just a hobby or a passing interest for her, it was a calling. Family and friends often recalled how naturally expressive she was, how she could communicate emotion without saying a word, and how she had an instinctive ability to connect with people around her. That gift would later become the foundation of a career that touched millions. Rachael took her craft seriously from the very beginning. Long before fame or recognition entered her life, she trained diligently, committed to learning every aspect of acting with discipline and humility. She wasn't chasing celebrity, she was chasing truth in performance. That dedication paid off when, in 2001, her life changed forever. That year, Rachael was cast as Jodie Fountain on the Australian television series McLeod's Daughters. What began as a popular rural drama quickly evolved into a cultural phenomenon. McLeod's Daughters wasn't just a TV show, it was an emotional anchor for viewers, and Rachael became one of its most beloved faces. She wasn't simply playing Jodie Fountain, she was growing up on screen alongside her audience. Viewers watched Jodie navigate family conflict, heartbreak, love, independence, and self-discovery. Through it all, Rachael brought honesty, vulnerability, and depth to the character. Her performance felt so real that audiences felt as though they truly knew her. Over nearly 8 years and close to 180 episodes, she became inseparable from the identity of the show, and her character became one of the most memorable in Australian television history. During this period, Rachael earned widespread acclaim. She received major award nominations and industry recognition, including being named among Australia's most popular actresses. Her name became synonymous with McLeod's Daughters, and her face became instantly recognizable to millions. Yet, despite the fame and success, those who worked with her often said she never changed. She remained grounded, kind, and deeply respectful to everyone on set, from fellow actors to crew members working behind the scenes. As the show continued to dominate ratings, Rachael faced a crossroads that many actors encounter, but few have the courage to pursue. She could have stayed in a comfortable, familiar space, continuing to build her career in Australia with guaranteed success. Instead, she made a bold decision. She chose growth over comfort. Rachael moved to the United States to challenge herself and expand her horizons as an actress. It was a risky move, especially for someone already established at home, but it reflected her fearless dedication to her craft. She wasn't interested in being safe, she wanted to evolve. In Hollywood, Rachael steadily built a new chapter of her career. She appeared in American television series including NCIS Los Angeles, where she entered the fast-paced, high-pressure world of procedural drama. Her performance proved that she could hold her own in a fiercely competitive industry far from home. She went on to star in Against the Wall, a gritty legal drama that allowed her to explore darker, more complex material, and she made appearances on The Glades, continuing to demonstrate her range across genres. Her film work added yet another dimension to her resume. She appeared in thrillers and dramas, including the psychological film Triangle, where she showcased emotional intensity, and the sports drama The Way Back, where subtlety and restraint were key. Rachael was never driven by blockbuster fame or celebrity headlines. What mattered most to her was the story, whether it was meaningful, challenging, and emotionally honest. Behind the scenes, however, Rachael was fighting battles the public rarely saw. For years, she lived with serious chronic health conditions, including endometriosis and adenomyosis, illnesses that cause debilitating pain and are often misunderstood or dismissed. These conditions affected her daily life, her work, and her future, but she refused to let them define her. Rather than hiding her struggles, Rachael chose honesty. She spoke openly about her health journey, including a terrifying hospitalization in 2021 that landed her in intensive care and required emergency surgery. It was a moment that forced her to confront her mortality, but it also strengthened her resolve. That experience became a turning point. Instead of retreating from the public eye, Rachael used her voice to advocate for women's health. She urged others to listen to their bodies, to push for answers, and to refuse to be ignored. Her words helped countless people feel less alone, and many fans later shared that her words encouraged them to seek diagnoses and treatment they had delayed for years. Despite ongoing health challenges, Rachael never lost her love for acting. In 2024, she returned to Australian television with a recurring role on Home and Away, playing Claudia Cellini. For longtime fans, it felt like a homecoming. Seeing her back on Australian screens was a powerful reminder of her enduring talent and her deep connection to storytelling. In interviews, Rachael spoke with gratitude about this chapter of her life. She expressed how meaningful it was to continue working, to tell stories, and to feel creatively alive despite everything she had endured. It was clear that acting was not just her profession, it was part of who she was. Off-screen, Rachael was known for her warmth, intelligence, and sharp sense of humor. Friends described her as deeply empathetic, someone who listened more than she spoke, someone who made others feel seen and valued. She had a way of making people feel comfortable, understood, and supported. Former co-stars have since shared emotional tributes, remembering her not just as a colleague, but as a genuine friend who brought light, laughter, and compassion into every room she entered. When news of her passing broke, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Fans flooded social media with tributes, sharing clips of her performances, photos from her early career, and heartfelt messages of gratitude. Many spoke about growing up watching her on television, about seeing themselves reflected in her characters, and about how her honesty around illness gave them strength during their own struggles. Rachael Carpani's funeral was held privately, honoring her family's wishes. While the ceremony itself was intimate, the mourning was global. From Australia to Hollywood, from industry veterans to fans who had followed her journey for decades, the message was clear: her loss is deeply felt. What Rachael leaves behind is much more than a list of roles or credits. She leaves behind stories that mattered, characters that felt real, and a legacy built on courage, kindness, and authenticity. She showed that success does not have to come at the cost of compassion, and that vulnerability can be one of the greatest forms of strength. Her performances will continue to be discovered by new generations, and her advocacy will continue to resonate with those fighting silent battles of their own. Though her life was cut tragically short, the impact she made in 45 years is profound and lasting. Rachael Carpani will be remembered not only as an actress, but as a woman who lived with heart, honesty, and grace, someone who turned pain into purpose and storytelling into connection.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for celebrity updates just like this.